Hi, it's Lee and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Let's go through the call. Rather than go through every item that was said, let's just focus on the areas that could have the most impact. Starting with Elon saying that Q3 production will be down a little bit due to summer shutdowns for a lot of battery upgrades. Did you hear that? Battery upgrades and a big shutdown, implying it's a big upgrade. I hope you don't think I'm reaching too far here when I suggest the possibility that this might be Tesla upgrading to CATL's new cells from the new factory next door to Giga Shanghai. Elon doesn't go into specifics and say this is just for the Model 3 or anything, which would then be assumed as the Highland, but he does then say global factory upgrades, which makes things a little unclear as different factories do use different batteries. But my guess is it would be LFP cells getting the upgrades. Now, if the battery lines are down and it results in the car lines down too, then one might think this would be the ideal opportunity to upgrade the vehicle lines for this new facelift, the Highland. And if Tesla are saying they will also upgrade all the LFP batteries, then this would imply Model Y too. Anyway, this downtime does give further reinforcement to the Model 3 Highland coming, and using this new battery that we already heard rumours will be 66 kilowatt hours instead of 60 kilowatt hours. This would be a great improvement. Elon is confident that the long-term economy will drive demand to new levels. Hopefully by then Berlin and Texas are ramped. Then the RoboTaxis will have quasi-infinite demand, and not only that, it will be a revolutionary new design, which of course we can't wait to see, but still no hint of when that reveal may take place. The manufacturing is just revolutionary, and we're being told that it will be the highest output of units per hour of any vehicle production ever. I want to speculate and say perhaps between 1.5 and 2 million vehicles annually, which is obviously insane. This may require a very big factory, of course, as Elon said, units per hour, not squared foot. Elon talks about the exponential learning curve when it comes to FSD and how Tesla has more vehicles collecting about 10 times more data than everyone else combined, which is an absolute insane advantage, and one serious moat. Dojo will reduce the cost of neural net training and help accelerate FSD, and Elon goes on about just how much further ahead Tesla is with AI, and reasons why no one else can come close. Elon talks about how Tesla are opening up the charging network to other EV companies, but also goes on about how they open to licensing FSD as well. Now, this is something I've mentioned a few times. Look how big a deal it was when Ford, GM, etc. said they would use the Tesla charging network, which is why I was saying once they start licensing Tesla's FSD hardware and software, it's going to be massive. Some people disagree this will happen, but Elon goes on to say that they are already in talks with a major OEM about licensing it. I'd guess possibly Ford. This would show that legacy autos also validate Tesla's self-driving and are admitting how far ahead Tesla are. Of course, it also opens up a ton more FSD customers, as Tesla's competition are also pushing the service. Not only that, it will mean Tesla get that much more data collection of other EVs out there on the road too. Now, the first question asked was indeed about 4680 cells, and was a reasonable question, asking the status and how far away we are from the specs that were laid out on Battery Day, and when they expect to achieve that. First, we're given some arbitrary irrelevant statistics about production increasing 80% in Q2 over Q1, as we don't know when production started in Q1, so it doesn't mean a lot. And the 10 million cell production isn't much and doesn't give us an idea of current run rate. The yield is increasing though, reducing the scrap bill by 40%, resulting in a 25% reduction in cost. Here is some big news. Tesla are preparing to launch the new Cybertruck cell, which is 10% higher than the current energy density. Energy density of the current 4680 is at around 244 watt hours per kg. 10% more would be 267, which is just about as energy dense as the Panasonic 2170 cell at 269. This is a really big deal. This was achieved through process and mechanical design operation, and it's being referred to as a cyber cell. The big news is that Tesla is achieving this without silicon in the anode or the new cathode, which are still to both come. It also means that Tesla is likely going to get more range than we thought if these cyber cells have higher energy density. I think this means there's a good chance Tesla can launch the Cybertruck with over 350 miles of range with these cells. I mean, possibly even 400 miles of range, depending on how far Tesla want to go and how big a battery pack. Obviously, if the range was that high, it would likely be a tri or quad motor version. But my theory is Tesla will first launch the dual motor version to show the world how affordable a Cybertruck is compared to the Lightning. On the other hand, perhaps Tesla are able to launch the dual motor and, say, the tri-motor at the same time. Obviously, the specs are going to be a huge deal, and we're all waiting to find out. Then we're finally asked when we'll get more information about the Cybertruck orders, estimated delivery schedules, pricing, and specifications. This was a question that was obviously coming. Elon decides to answer a different question and ignore those, and says that demand is so far off the hook you can't even see it, so that's not really an issue. Implying demand is really not an issue, but demand was not really what was being asked. And Elon emphasizes that the Cybertruck has a lot of new technology in it. Elon says it will be hard to predict the ramp initially, but thinks they'll be making them in high volume production next year, which I assume he means just volume production, which means it will achieve a production rate of around 250,000 units a year sometime next year. And the car will be delivered this year. He doesn't say this quarter though, so it may not be until Q4, but it might depend on when those cyber sales come online too. We're asked how many Optimus bots have been produced and when they will be able to start performing significant tasks. Elon says they're about 10 already, but will start ramping up perhaps around after November, and will hopefully be able to do useful things in Tesla factories as early as sometime next year, which would be outstanding. Yes, it should mean lower production costs for vehicles, but then suddenly the bot is extremely valuable to many other businesses. It will then come down to how fast they can ramp production of the bots if they are suddenly viable. I think very little of the market value for the company has priced in the bots. So when we start to see some progress, then it will become more believable and more investors will start doing some back of the envelope math and realize the potential of this business. Elon's asked about what the emphasis will be on cutting prices and affecting margins in order to increase volume growth. Something I literally said the other day is what Tesla is attempting. The short-term variances in margin and profitability are minor relative to the entire picture. It's about getting these cars out on the road so they can be used in FSD. My analogy is it's like printers. Sell the printers at a low price and make the money from the ink. The Razor example is also the same business model, as is Tesla's FSD. Of course, Tesla do make profits on their cars as well. Then Elon's asked as to what extent that Tesla are willing to sacrifice margins in order to hit a 50% CAGR, and willing to sacrifice these margins to gain more share. Elon says it has nothing to do with share, and it's just that the more cars Tesla produce that have full autonomy capability as something that in the future may be worth as much as 5 times as it is today. This is the value of the car, not 5 times more profit. So for example, if the car cost $30,000 to produce and sold for $40,000, then that's a $10,000 profit. But if the car is worth 5 times as much, then the value of the car is $200,000, yet the profit becomes $170,000, 17 times more profit. However, I think it's wrong to expect to get 5 times more value from every Tesla. That would assume that the vehicle is being used full-time as a RoboTaxi. I think plenty of people would not be interested in letting their car out into the fleet, or at least not full-time. On the other hand, if it's paying $20,000 a year or so, then it's likely tempting for many. What that would do to the price of a new Tesla, though, might be a bit crazy if they can get this much value. But even if people are not letting them out in the fleet, they may still be paying for FSD subscription at probably $2,500 a year, which is still $25,000 over 10 years, which is more than twice as much profit as Tesla get from selling the car. Yes, the main reason for the stock price to go to the moon is the belief in the story of FSD. FSD has insane value potential, so someone asks when it might be ready, and Elon says he thinks it will be safer than a human by this year. Personally, I don't believe it will be that soon. I think we need to get to the level where FSD can drive itself with about 1,000 trips in a row with no interventions. I think we're still a long way from there. We are asked about prices and if Tesla will need to lower prices to hit the 1.8 million target. Elon says the referral program being introduced will help, and the rest will mainly come down to the economy. If interest rates rise, Tesla will have to adjust prices accordingly. On the other hand, demand in Q3 and 4 should be higher, and Tesla will have some significant downtime which will affect supply. So hopefully no more price cuts for the year. Elon doesn't say anything about advertising though, and aside from a few basic Google ads, they haven't really taken advertising serious. As for the stock price, as we expected, it did drop after all this news. But usually this is what happens, and it takes a few days after that for the investors to realize what exactly has been said and how exciting this future is looking, and the stock price generally recovers. Hopefully we see 300 next week. Hi there, I'm using Verbalate AI video translation and lip sync software. It's pretty amazing. Watch this. I can translate my videos into other languages. For example, I am now speaking Hindi.
नमस्ते। मैं पहली बार हिंदी में बोल रहा हूं, लेकिन वर्बलेट इसे इतना आसान बना देता है।
Or how about Spanish?
Hola, vaya, increíble.
También puedo hablar español. Sign up at verbalate.ai today to gain early access to trial the product for creators and strategic partners, and gain the ability to translate and lip sync videos in all major languages. You can view the info in the description below.